With the upcoming election, there are a lot of people saying that Kamala Harris is going to win the presidency. And even some Republicans are gearing up for that possibility. I know some Republicans have endorsed Kamala Harris, but two Republican senators are saying, well, if that does happen, they've already said what they plan to do. Now, John Thune of South Dakota and Senator John Cornyn of Texas have both said basically that if Kamala Harris gets elected president and the Republicans have control of the Senate, should there be a Supreme Court nomination come up and a Supreme Court pick, they would block it. Now, they haven't said if they'd block anything else necessarily, but it looks like if Republicans have control of the Senate, they would go back to their obstructionist ways and try to block everything coming out of the Harris administration, specifically Supreme Court picks. And we have to do something about the Supreme Court in the case, condition it's in, when you've got Clarence Thomas taking $4 million plus in gifts from different billionaires. You've got Samuel Alito flying the Appeal to Heaven flag and the upside down flag and all of that, showing support with January 6th rioters. You hear about John Roberts and him pushing the court to rule a specific way and then writing the opinion himself to make sure it gets done right, etc. And when you have all of that, we need to do something with the Supreme Court. But now you have at least two Republican senators who are not up for re-election this year, as far as I know, that are saying, well, if we have control of the Senate, we're just going to block whoever she nominates. So even if the Democrats were able to get rid of Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, and Kamala Harris could appoint a couple of new Supreme Court justices to fill those roles, a Republican-led Senate would block them and keep them vacant. Why? Because they're obstructionists. This is why we need to make sure we give Kamala Harris a favorable Senate. Now, I think that's possible. The only seat I am convinced we are 100% going to lose is West Virginia. With Joe Manchin retiring, that seat is almost guaranteed to flip red. Now, Tester in Montana, that seat we could also lose, but there are several seats that are available to be picked up. I think Rick Scott in Florida is in jeopardy. I think Ted Cruz in Texas is in jeopardy. Josh Hawley in Missouri, I don't think he's very well liked down there. He could be in jeopardy, as well as, Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee. Those are four potential seats that could be picked up and could flip blue. Democrats only need to flip one of those four seats if Tester is not reelected in Montana. If the Democrats hold all the seats they are defending except for West Virginia, they still control the Senate. It is still a 50-50 split, and Tim Walz would be the deciding vote, and things would get done. We cannot have a Republican-controlled Congress, or a Republican-controlled Senate specifically, because they would obstruct anything that Kamala Harris wants to get done, specifically Supreme Court justices. And they're already saying it out loud that they are going to block it, basically depending on who she appoints. And that would mean she'd have to pick somebody that is very conservative, very middle of the road. And even then, they may not go that route. She would almost have to pick somebody as bad as Thomas and Alito, potentially. We don't need that. We just need to make sure we give her a favorable Senate. And I think there's plenty of chances for us to do that.